This is the most important time in your life. It's not easy being an adult. Every little thing that we do or don't do can drastically change the trajectory of our lives. But it feels like we're kind of fumbling through it. This video will show you 7 tips on how to survive and thrive throughout your 20s, because who knows what the future holds for you. I've been in my 20s for a while now, 90% of it in fact, so I can show you how to make it through these years with a little less stress. If you're new here, I'm Laurie from Brain Bootcamp, and I help women in their 20s get their goals without burning out so they can live the life that they deserve on their terms. I'm a yoga teacher, personal trainer, and corporate leader. And I know from training hundreds of people in both the corporate and the fitness world that your self-leadership and well-being go hand in hand to live a truly incredible life. So like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell to get this message of living an authentic life out to more people who need to hear it. First up, let's talk about what to expect in your 20s. You will experience a lot of change, both physically and emotionally. You're going to grow and mature in so many different ways, but you probably already knew that. You're going to go through several major life changes that catapult the trajectory of your life. Breakups, makeups, probably death and grief, promotions, engagements, and hey, you might even have kids. This time is a time of exploration and experimentation. You're going to try out a lot of different things, and not all of those things that you try will make the other people around you happy. Those who don't align with the newest version of yourself will get extremely uncomfortable as you level up throughout your 20s. And as you're changing, you're also going to start building some sort of adult identity. You're going to take on a lot more responsibilities like rent, bills, building a credit, all of that fun stuff. And you'll probably be in a lot of different relationships, some short-term, some long-term. You're probably going to get your heart broken 1, 2, or 10 times, or experience really intense feelings for someone who ghosts you. All of the dramas. My personal fave about your 20s, this is also the beginning of building a career and establishing yourself in a chosen field, which is super exciting, but you need to learn how to balance that work life with your personal life and figure out whether that career trajectory that you've been fed on a silver platter is actually your dream or if it's someone else's dream. And hopefully you will start to figure out who you are authentically and what you want in life. It is a lot. So let's talk about how to manage all of that change and uncertainty. You're leaving behind the safety and security of your childhood and venturing out in the world probably before you're ready, while anxious to figure out who on earth you are, or fearful that all of the decisions that you make now will have lifelong consequences. And you're right to worry about these things, but don't let that fear stop you from taking advantage of all the amazing possibilities at this stage in your life. So here are 7 tips of how to survive and thrive throughout your 20s. Number 1, accept that change is inevitable. It gives us the valuable lessons that we would never learn otherwise. You cannot control what happens around you, but you can control how you react to those specific circumstances. Sometimes your boyfriend will cheat on you. Sometimes your best friend will talk shit about you behind your back. Sometimes there'll be a global pandemic and you'll lose your primary source of income 3 times. But sometimes you'll get promoted. You'll go backpacking and make the deepest connection with a stranger that you never thought possible. You'll fall in love with some stranger at a rock show. You'll start a side hustle to find out that it actually works. Change will happen either way, good or bad. It's your job to move away from a victim mindset and start taking ownership of any challenge or triumph that come your way. If you haven't heard of this Chinese proverb before, my 20s kind of reminded me of this story. Once upon a time, there was an old farmer who had worked his crops for many years. One day, his horse ran away. Upon hearing the news, his neighbors came to visit. "Such bad luck," they said sympathetically. "You must be so sad." "We'll see," the farmer replied. The next morning, the horse returned, bringing with it another 2 horses. "How wonderful," the neighbors exclaimed. "Not only did your horse return, but you received 2 more. What great fortune you have." "We'll see," said the farmer. The following day, his son tried to ride one of those untamed horses, was thrown off and broke his leg. The neighbors again came to offer their sympathy on his misfortune. "Now your son cannot help you with your farming," they said. "What terrible luck you have." "We'll see," said the old farmer. The following week, military officials came to the village to conscript young men into the army. Seeing that the son's leg was broken, they passed him by. The neighbors congratulated the farmer on how well things had turned out. "Such great news, you must be so happy." The man smiled to himself one more time and said once again, "We'll see." This couldn't be more true in my experience, and it's wild to see people in their 40s and 50s still a victim of their circumstances. Your 20s are the best time to start observing change inquisitively and start embracing what's happening for you. Number 2, take risks, because this is when they matter most, because there is still so much time for you to recover if something doesn't work out. In your 20s, it's good to try different things and have new experiences. This can be anything from small adjustments such as trying new cuisines or funky hairstyles, or big ones like switching up careers or moving abroad. But while you're in the midst of all this exploration, remain open to new possibilities too. So personally, I've taken a whole bunch of risks in my 20s. I moved to New Zealand on 2 days' notice for a job interview with $500 in a backpack because it felt right. Great decision. I also moved in with a bloke who I locked eyes with from across the room and fell in love with after knowing him for 2 days. Terrible decision. So stay safe, but make bold decisions to figure out what works for you. Keep on trying to find the things that you enjoy most. We're so wrapped up in trying to discover our purpose, we're not actually analyzing how we're blocking ourselves in living our lives more purposefully. An excellent step is to take more risk, find that line, and keep on pushing that line. Number 3, remain flexible. There is no certainty in the future, so be ready to adapt with whatever comes your way. I can't tell you how many times I've told myself this is it to a new job or a new boyfriend, only to shift gears and find new and exciting things later. Life doesn't owe you anything, so have fun while rolling with the punches. You never know when your last dance, kiss, brunch, or day is going to be, so find some level of contentment in each moment presented to you. Even those nights spent bawling your eyes to sleep and the mornings like trying to cool your puffy eyes with cucumber or tea bags, these are essential moments of contrast for the brighter days to come. Really think about it. Would a sunny day be as awesome if it was sunny all the time? Absolutely not. Just go to the beach in Vancouver and watch how many people are out and about. It's wild. We don't do that shit in Australia because it's so sunny and the beaches are beautiful. There's no contrast to the crap weather, so we just don't appreciate it as much. So stay content with whatever comes your way and understand that no moment will last forever. If I'm getting really deep here, in my 20s, I've experienced quite a bit of death, and the times I've dealt with grief the best was when I looked inward at what the grief was teaching me rather than what was happening to me. This is when I grew and learned the most. Everything, every relationship, every transition, and every moment has its purpose, even when it doesn't feel like it at the time. Number 4, be patient. Don't let yourself get too discouraged by speed bumps along the way. They are only temporary. Life isn't linear, it's cyclic. You learn, fail, and grow. Learn, fail, and grow. And while you're being patient, make the most of this free time. I do not have kids, but if there's one thing I know about children, they're an absolute time and money suck. Your 20s make you time rich by default. You literally have more time to live. So make the most of it. Do those things that you've always wanted to do. If you don't do it now, when will you? I've lived in 4 countries and traveled to 20. And loads of people think I'm lucky or something, and they're like, oh, I wish I could do that. And I say, what's stopping you? Number 5, and I learned this one the hard way through really intense depression and anxiety at 23, 1 out of 10, do not recommend not focusing on this. Take care of your body. Self-care is an important part of being able to survive the ups and downs of your 20s. So it's really important to take good care of your body. Be sure to eat nutritious foods, as much of your serotonin is actually produced in the gut. Get plenty of sleep, it helps you learn, heal, and be a nicer person to others. Exercise as much as you can and get plenty of outdoor time. And if I'm putting on my personal trainer hat right here, after 30, your muscle starts to decline by 3 to 5% unless you train to keep it. It's a whole thing. Sarcopenia, look it up. So get into good habits while it's physiologically a little bit easier. Without taking care of your physical needs, you're of no help to anybody. You won't be able to take good care of others. So get into good habits while it's physiologically a little bit easier. Without taking care of your physical needs, you won't be able to take care of anything else in your life, including your plants. Number 6, keep learning and growing. Challenge yourself to do new things and learn about the world around you. Henry Ford says, anyone who keeps learning stays young. And it's quite literal. Neuroplasticity starts to decline at 25, which is the growth and reorganization of our neural networks. So basically, after 25, our brain becomes rigid, which is pretty scary, but don't worry, you're not going to end up like your grumpy, slightly racist uncle. Unlike what every woman has been taught about themselves by the patriarchy, it is not all downhill after 25. The adult brain is actually able to increase neuroplasticity despite the natural decline, but you've got to do it consciously by paying attention and choosing to learn new things. So it turns out that ignorance isn't bliss, it's a choice. Number 7, develop an intimate relationship with yourself. It is important to dedicate time and energy to your career, your family, your hobbies, and other passions, but don't forget to spend time thinking about who you are and what you value. Develop an awareness of what gives your life meaning and practice expressing that within the world around you. We are told who to be and how to act in this lifetime. And you might be watching this video because you've realized that you've just wasted 4 years and tens of thousands of dollars on a degree that was your parents' dream or society's dream. And that's okay. Remember what I said earlier about the Chinese proverb? It's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just a thing. You're here now. And it's time to look inwards at what you actually want out of your life. We're not taught to value and express ourselves as the unique, multifaceted humans that we are. If you're struggling to know who you are, then take the Purpose Blocker quiz. It's a great way to assess how you're getting in your own way of your purpose and start taking steps to fix it. Check out the quiz in the description box below to get personalized advice on how to stop getting in your own way and finally start to move forward on the things that bring you joy. These 7 tips today will help you guide you through surviving and thriving in your 20s like I have, even when it didn't always feel like it at the time. So go ahead and save this video for whenever you're feeling like a pep talk and hit that subscribe and notification button for more adulting wisdom on tap. Until next time, keep shining.